How do you stay motivated this time of year when it's wet, it's cold, it's dreary, it's miserable, and racing seems like a million miles away? Well, continue watching this video and hopefully I can give you some top tips. We're 14 weeks out from Ironman South Africa, so things are starting to come together and I'm starting to see the start of what's going to be a pretty big Ironman block, probably the biggest one I've ever done in my life, and the most specific as well, which I'm really excited for. And that kind of leads me on to my first point, really, is think about your racing for this year and then work backwards from there and give yourself an amount of time that you need, that you feel like you need to prep for that race. This is obviously if you're not coached. If you're coached, I'm sure your coach is going to guide you through that and help you with that. But if you're not, think about how much time you might need. Maybe it's 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 15 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever. And then have that in mind for those 10 weeks, for example. Let's say you're going to be super focused and this is your race build, whether you're doing 70.3 or an Ironman or whatever it is. That's what I'm going to really target this year, and it's going to give me that mental focus so that when I'm not in that build phase, I can kind of be a little bit more relaxed. I can allow myself to enjoy things a bit more, do other things. Not that I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be a complete slouch and not do any training, but be really focused for that set period of time and then allow yourself to be a little bit more relaxed outside of that, because triathlon seems to be becoming a longer and longer and longer season, and it can be really daunting. Like last year, when you try and stay fit for the whole season, it becomes really difficult. So have these amounts of time that you're going to be focused, and then these bits of time in between races where you can be chill, you can be a bit more relaxed. And I think having that split really does help with motivation. The next thing to help this time of year is training with other people. Now, I'm making a very good example of this right now by training all on my own. But if there are specific sessions that you're going to need someone to help you along with, some accountability, or if there is a certain exercise, whether it's swim, bike or run, that you really struggle with, it's really good to have someone to help you along, or a group of people to help you along. So maybe that means joining the local swim club, the local triathlon club, just meeting up with friends for a run, for a bike ride. This time of year, like yesterday, I met up with Freddie Webb to go on a 3-hour ride because I knew that it's cold and it's horrible, and if I've got someone else sharing the effort, then it feels like the effort's just less. And at the minute as well, like swimming with the squad, there's accountability. I've actually joined, like I mentioned, the Team Bath Athletics Club, so I know that on Tuesdays and Thursdays I've got a really good hard session with a group of people. I know I've got to be there at a certain time, 7 o'clock in the evening at Bath Uni, and they're going to absolutely rip my legs off. And that's the nice thing as well, is not only training with other people, but if you're looking for performance, training with people that are better than you, within reason. Obviously, if they're a million miles better than you, it's probably better off not training with them because you may get injured. But if they're just a little bit better than you and they're happy for you to train with them, I think that's great this time of year. Really helps. The next thing I would say to focus on is being realistic. If you're someone who the max amount you can train is 10 hours a week because you've got work commitments, you've got family commitments, all of this kind of stuff, I would say this time of year you want to back it off a bit. You maybe do 7 hours a week and just be consistent at 7 hours a week. I've always said to people, if you've got a max amount of 10 hours, you're better off consistently doing 7 or 8 than doing 10 for a little bit of time, getting worn out, getting drained, feeling really fatigued, feeling ill, and being inconsistent, and then backing off, having a week off or whatever. So I would say this time of year, be really realistic with your time and time management. And I would say do less overall volume, but be consistent with it week in, week out. And then once you start to see some really good consistency, that's when you can start to increase it, and maybe, you know, start to pushing towards 8-9 hours. And then you'll be towards the season and you can start pushing for 10 hours. And that will be easier to do because you'll have better weather. You'll be able to get up earlier, it'll be lighter. You'll be able to stay up later because it's lighter. Oh, I just got back from the run. That was really, really good actually. 20k and 6k effort in there, just sub 4-minute Ks. Nothing like, not like the world on fire at all, but it's nice to see some good run fitness and run form coming back. And I think a lot of that is to down to the run sessions I'm doing with the squad. I've only been back for 2 weeks now. This is my first, like, I guess, proper week back into like structured training, and yeah, I can already see where the benefits are going to come from, and I'm really excited for that. 14 weeks until South Africa, like I said, so really exciting stuff. Now, another tip for seeing motivation this time of year or staying disciplined to your training is to do stuff that's perhaps slightly different actually, and do some level of cross training. Now, I don't mean going to the gym and using the cross trainer. If that's what you want to do, fair enough. I don't see that as being something that's quite exciting. What I mean by that is do the stuff that's slightly different, that you'll perhaps still see a positive transfer over mentally and physically to triathlon, but it's not swim, bike or run. So let's say you like climbing and you want to go and do bouldering or whatever it is. Or if you're crazy enough to want to go surfing this time of year, or anything else that's not quite triathlon, you'll get a positive transfer. It'll be mentally stimulating, and it will keep you focused and keep you motivated. If you're lucky enough, for example, to be able to go skiing with your family or with your friends or whatever, that's a big thing. Like, a lot of people, they go skiing, they're like, oh, it's a week out of training. It's like, well, it's not, because you're spending a week literally squatting all day, every day. Depending on how good you are, and maybe you're doing some off-piste, maybe you're doing some more technical stuff, or maybe you're just going for a piss-up, and then maybe it's not the best, but good for the stories. But what I mean by this is just perhaps do stuff that's slightly different, mix it up a little bit, and be guilt-free about it. Guys, the last tip for staying motivated this time of year, or bringing back your motivation this time of year when it's pretty hard to stay motivated, is to train for fun. What I mean by that is, if you feel like you're lacking motivation, just do what you enjoy. Don't worry about being too structured with it. As long as you're getting some stuff in, then it doesn't really matter. Like, if you wake up one day and you're like, you know what, I want to go on a run. I don't really want to swim today. Then go on a run. This obviously does depend on whether you've got a structured plan, whether you've got a coach, whatever. But if you're self-coached and you're really lacking motivation, I would say scrap the plan and just train for fun. And that will bring back your motivation and your discipline, so then you can follow a plan towards racing. And then hopefully by that point, the weather will be better. You'll be close to racing, you'll feel motivated, and you'll absolutely smash it. Now, guys, I do realize there are plenty other ways to get motivated, to keep motivated, and to get you through these winter months before racing. So if you have any specific tips, you know, if you've gone through a period where you felt really unmotivated or really lacking discipline and really struggling, and you found a really good tip or a really good way to harness that motivation and to keep going, please do comment in the comment section below, because I think it's really helpful for people. And, you know, someone may stumble across your comment and try whatever you've tried, and it may really help them. So let's put some comments in the comment section below. Let's help people out during this period of winter training when people normally do lack motivation. Let us know what you do in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and see what you guys have been up to. And yeah, hope you're all well, and I will see you in the next video.